Hello everyone. We are from Group 1 and as for today, we will present to you our poster which titled Pesticides and Toads a Scientist Stand. So my name is Hazim and I am the leader for this group. I will start with the introduction first. The situation is Kuala Lumpur is holding a hearing on banning a mosquito control pesticide, which actually links to the decline of local toad species. And in this situation, we have a professor who is a professor of a local university, Charles Chang, and he has led to like a strong campaign for the ban, which raises concern over his role as a scientist in advocacy. So now I will talk about the central issue for these situations. Actually, we have two central issues. So the first one is that the banning of pesticides in Kuala Lumpur sparks contention between concerns over biodiversity loss and public health. And then the second central issue is that some regard Charles Chang as overstepping his role as a scientist by becoming more involved in activism than in conducting scientific research. So we will explore more on this case, but first I will pass to Adam to talk about these similar cases.
Thank you, Hazim. So now I'm going to talk about the similar issues related to this situation. Firstly, the Rachel Carson and the DDT controversy. Rachel Carson has published Silent Spring to raise public awareness about the dangers of DDT and other pesticides, which caused widespread debate about scientists should engage in political or policy advocacy. Next, neonicotinoid pesticides and bee decline. In recent years, there has been debate over the use of neonicotinoid pesticides due to their potential impact on the bee population. This highlights the tension between scientific neutrality and active policy engagement. So now we're going to talk about the harm test that we have made. So there are five players with their own actions. So firstly, the Kuala Lumpur officials. Kuala Lumpur officials have held a public hearing on pesticide ban, which is considered a positive opinion because this encourages democratic engagement and considers the environmental protection. Next is the scientists generally. So the action is offering expert testimony and opinions, which is a positive opinion too because it contributes evidence-based knowledge to policy decisions. Next the each debate side, which they call their own witnesses, which is also a positive opinion because this sets the standard practice in public hearings, which could ensure the multiple perspectives between the general public view. Next is Charles Chang. Their action is writing newspaper columns and advocating for the ban. So this is a positive and negative opinion because it's positive because it could reach the public general public view and also get the engagement, but also may blur scientific neutrality, which is a negative opinion. Next, he also appeared on TV to discuss the issue, which also is a positive and negative opinion because it's positive because it could raise awareness, but also may be seen as promoting an agenda beyond science, which is a negative opinion. Next is circulating flyers and doing door-to-door advocacy, which is also an action done by Charles Chang. This is obviously a negative opinion because this is seen by some as some activism rather than objective science, which could undermine the public trust in science. Lastly, the player is colleagues or the community. They express concern over Chang's approach, which is considered as a positive opinion because they reflects concern for the integrity of science and appropriate roles in public discourse. Next, I'm going to pass to Zixing Wang to talk about the professional test.
Hello everyone, my name is Zixing Wang. So I responsibility for our professional test. In the professional test, I divide the three sessions. The one session is the pesticide use. The second session is the wildlife. The third session is the endangered species trees. In the one session is the pesticide use. I think we know how to use the pesticides and how to manage our pesticides because we know the pesticides have influence our human health and our environmental. So I think this is very important. So how to use and how to manage. In the second session is the wildlife. We know in the Malaysia's laws, we not allowed to randomly kill our animals or randomly kill anything. So if our randomly to kill animals, I think it's not allowed from our Malaysia's laws. So in the three sessions is the endangered species. In the endangered species, I think we know we need to have a clear list because more and more people they are want to earn the money, so they will randomly importing or exporting the endangered species. I think this is no normals, and I think that is not incorrect. So this is very important. Let me welcome our team members Huda to speak the fifth test.
I'm Huda, and I will be talking about the faith test. In Islam, there is the theory of necessity. The Quran 6:38 says there is not an animal on the earth, nor a flying creature with two wings, but they are communities like you, stressing the value of all creatures. Islam allows removing harmful pests when necessary, but discourages unnecessary harm. In Christianity, Genesis 2:15 tells us that God placed the humans in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it, highlights the stewardship, so that humans must care for the earth. Christian ethics allows removing harmful insects but warn against causing environmental harm. Hinduism strongly follows the principle of ahimsa or nonviolence. The Bhagavad Gita 5:18 teaches seeing the divine in all beings and minimizing harm, so that's why many Hindus prefer low harm methods like organic farming. In Buddhism, the Dhammapada says all fear violence, all fear death. So let's not kill or cause to kill. Monks to avoid killing even insects, and lay people are also encouraged to avoid harm, while some exceptions exist. Buddhism generally opposes the use of pesticide and supports safer non-lethal methods. Now I'm passing to Marcus.
Thank you, Huda. My name is Marquis Nelson, and now we'll continue with the publicity test. So, for this test, there's two reactions, which is positive and negative. For positive, there are concerned environmentalists and conservation groups that might view Chang as a responsible and courageous scientist using his knowledge to protect a vulnerable species. Meanwhile, community members affected by environmental harm might appreciate this that an expert is advocating and educating them for their well-being and taking action beyond academic circles. Some also might see this as a healthy example of civic engagement, where professionals use their platform for public good. Meanwhile, in negative reactions, there are others, especially those prioritizing mosquito control for public health, may perceive Chang as biased or alarmist, potentially undermining the science. His credibility as an objective scientist could also be questioned if people believe he's crossed from scientist into activism. This also might make the public worry about scientific overreach, feeling that experts now dictating policy rather than informing it. Conclusion from the policy test. If Chang's actions and motivations were made fully transparent, opinions will likely be divided. While many will command his passion and sense of duty, others also might feel he has compromised the perceived neutrality of science. This key ethical tension is between scientific objectivity and civic responsibility. That's all from me. Now I'll pass to Hazim to conclusion.
So, in conclusion, we do believe that Kuala Lumpur should ban the pesticide linked to the local toads decline. And this decision is actually supported by the four ethical key tests that we have explored. So I will summarize each of this. First, the harm test. So we believe that the pesticide causes serious environmental harm and that alternative can control mosquitoes without causing such damage. Next is the faith test. We believe that all these religions emphasize protecting life, and these religions also discourage unnecessary harm to living beings. And then the third test is the professional test, is that we have found that scientists have a duty to use their expertise to guide policy. And then in this situation, we have a local professor, Prof. Changs, who reflects that responsibility in scientific engagement, and he is not being biased. And then the last and the most important test is the publicity test. We think that the public deserve transparency and also making decision based on evidence. That pretty summarize up everything of our video today. Thank you so much for listening and thank you for your time.